Hello, everybody, and welcome to round one here of Day 1A, Worlds 2019, live from Minnesota. For Gold Squadron Podcast, my name is Asa Graff.
My name's Aaron Granger.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on this stream, sponsored by Cold Paw Creatives. Down there in the bottom right, coupon code Worlds 2019 will get you 15% off of your whole order. So let's talk about these lists, Darren. On your left, we've got Tyler Tippett with Sunfac and Vultures. On your right, we've got Aaron with a TIE Swarm. 2 swarm lists to start out the day.
Yep, well, we might as well do the 2 swarms while we're feeling fresh.
Exactly. We'll get the colors of those TIE fighters up here in just a second as soon as our stream overlay refreshes. But let's talk about these lists. We saw some Sunfac yesterday, but that was in a list with 3 aces. This is now Sunfac supported by a bunch of Vulture droids. What's the difference in how that flies?
So this is the big boogeyman that everyone's been a little bit worried about. And let's see how it does. But basically, you've then got Sunfac with 5 other ships. Now, Tyler has gone for the Pilot Skill 3 Separatist droids, probably for the matchup, for the mirror match to kind of out-pilot skill the other swarm.
Right.
And with the grappling struts there as well, means that he's not going to worry too much about those rocks there.
Absolutely. He actually, Tyler has some really impressively painted ships. He also has some rocks with Vulture droids sitting on them that we might see when those grappling struts are active.
Yep, I believe you can see them just at the top left-hand corner there.
Absolutely.
Right by
we'll get Dion to run over there with a mobile camera when those go up so we can see those rock droids.
And a quick note about those ships, they're actually painted by Luke Carrington of the Gold Squadron Paintcast.
Yeah.
You can check them out every Monday and Thursday on Gold Squadron Podcast stream.
And if you have any other questions about the events that Gold Squadron Podcast will be running, that is streams, the command in the chat. You can look at the events that GSP will be running in the future. So let's talk about the TIE Swarm then. TIE Swarm historically with Howl Runner, all those rerolls, all the offensive abilities of somebody like Gideon Hask and Wampa. This is a very high damage swarm. Absolutely,
and with the swarm tactics there as well, they'll be firing before Initiative 4, so they'll be firing actually before the Initiative 3 Separatist drones.
So swarm on swarm, do you think there's a decided advantage here with Sunfac out of the equation?
So I think with Sunfac out of the equation, it's probably the TIE Swarms. Mm-hmm. But Sunfac's the real thing here.
Right, Sunfac is in the equation. We can't ignore that.
He's the absolute anomaly here, and I guess it all comes down to what mischief Tyler can do with Sunfac. I think one of the greatest things that Aaron's got going for him is that Iden Versio.
Right.
So just the ability to go, you've just deleted Howl Runner. Nope, not today.
I think my biggest concern, if I were Aaron, would be Sunfac rushing in, pulling Howl Runner out of my swarm, or pulling Iden out of my swarm, so that neither of those TIE fighters can actually bring their abilities to bear.
Yeah, but if you look at where Aaron's placed Howl Runner, now I know we've not got the colours up on the overlay just yet, but Howl Runner is the green TIE fighter there that's basically in the very back right-hand corner.
Right. Now that is it's still on the edge of the swarm, and we saw yesterday how easily Sunfac can pull ships out of the edge of that swarm. So Aaron still, I think, has to use the edge of the board to his advantage. If Sunfac is threatening that kind of top side, it might not be advantageous to turn in until Sunfac is somewhere in this or this area, just so that Howl Runner in particular does not get pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, I think from where we've set up here, I think Aaron's probably most likely to take this route here and then come in down this channel. It's just now a question of actually is Tyler going to fall for that, or is he going to do something different? Because these drones don't really care about these rocks here, whereas Aaron's going to find it very, very difficult to get through this spot here. So what you might see is the droids come this way and then just move really, really quickly.
Right.
But as we can see there, we're getting started, and there we see the 2 forwards just from the TIE fighters there. Okay, and then Tyler's now moving with his Pilot Skill 3 Separatist drones.
And it looks like they're kind of following suit with that 2 straightforward. Tyler might be going for this avenue right here, if not just looking to meet the TIE Swarm head-on right down the center right of that board.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to either see Sunfac do something and go down this way, or just move really quickly and come down here.
Again, to hit the edge of the swarm.
Now, I've not actually seen Tyler play Sunfac, so he may just use Sunfac as just an absolute hammer. It's going to be really interesting to see actually how he does with it, because everybody's been talking about the Nantex since it came out, but very few people have actually seen it on stream. There's been very few games played at a high level with the Nantex there, so this one I think will be a really interesting match for the first round.
And there's that really quick, straightforward maneuver. That looks like a 5 with Sunfac just hugging the edge of that board there. Arc pointed down. There's a tractor boost.
Yep. Tyler's got to be really, really careful there that he doesn't use that wiggle room in the templates too much, because he could find himself just flying off the edge.
So there's the rotate arc forward. Not putting the tractor token down, as we all know exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Sunfac, by the way, is number pink. That's scary.
Well, we also have a number pink droid.
So there's a number pink. There's 2 number pinks.
There are 2 number pinks.
And that is absolutely. Technically, there's 3. We've got a TIE fighter up there, Academy pilot number pink. So let's go through the colors as again, we wait for tabletop.to to refresh. Using a lot of bandwidth here today. Del Miko is actually in yellow. Iden Versio in purple. Wampa is the leading TIE in black. Academy pink. Gideon in orange up there at the top. Howl Runner in green.
Absolutely. So here we see Tyler setting his dials.
Neither of these swarm lists are particularly subtle. Like we see Sunfac going up there across the edge of the board. Sunfac is definitely the only ace-type ship right here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And at the moment he's got free reign, because the highest pilot skill on Aaron's side is obviously Howl Runner at 5.
So when you see Sunfac scooting over there, you definitely assume Sunfac is going to go sort of in the this way direction.
Absolutely.
Up this side of the board. It looks like Aaron is coming over here, maybe prepping for a turn in around this area, hoping that Sunfac is too far away, or using this to breed cloud to his advantage, or excuse me, that gas cloud to his advantage to prevent that early fackening.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is with both these swarms is they've got very similar dials in that they've got the hard one.
Right.
Which means that they can kind of come in this direction here with the TIE swarm if he really wants to.
And that's a beautiful and very open lane.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Both players have allowed basically this to happen. Unfortunately for Aaron, Tyler's lane is basically this. And anything from there down, because he doesn't care about this rock, or this rock, or this rock. So it'll be interesting to see if those landing struts do come into play.
I mean, he's got the models for him.
Yep, absolutely.
I would not be surprised if they did.
Okay, so here we see a hard one from Sunfac. Now, it might be interesting to see if he's going to take a tractor and barrel roll himself this way.
If he does, that's shadowing a leapfrog, I think, of those vulture droids coming across Sunfac and more towards the center. But
Nope.
Out he comes.
And this is what I'm saying. The different players play the same list in very, very different ways. I mean, for me, I'd be more tempted to come in through this way, through the rocks. Tyler's obviously got a different thing in mind.
Especially now that we see the TIE fighters looking like they're going to commit to this lane, right?
Yes.
If we are able to pull Sunfac over here, when you pull the TIE fighters out of position, we can use these rocks to Sunfac's advantage, rather than putting them on gas clouds where there's no extra effect at that point, rather than just pulling them out of formation.
Yeah, absolutely.
He might still be going the other way. We not really sure yet. See anything in chat? Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in. There is a question from ATR127. Why would anyone run a TIE Swarm when droids exist? People are putting it fine. TIE Swarms are fun.
Absolutely.
They are still fun.
And they do something very, very different. That's the equivalent of saying, why would you run T-65s when T-70s exist? They are a different ship in a different faction. It's all comes down to personal choice.
Absolutely.
So here we see the hard one from the from the TIE fighters. I don't know whether we're going to see another hard one and be a column, or whether, there we go, we see a hard 3. And what that effectively does is that wheels that formation round. If it had done the hard one with them all, it'd have been in this formation. But actually what we're going to see is we're going to see that TIE swarm effectively do that.
In
so
a
it keeps its
lengthy
frontage.
break.
And here we see the hard 2 there from that droid. And what that droid can then effectively do next turn is, if he doesn't reposition, yep, there we go, there we see the calculate. I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw a 2 forwards and he landed on that rock.
Right there, exactly. And Tyler's doing exactly what you predicted there, Darren. He's using this chunked up lane in the rocks to his advantage, rather than letting Aaron have the open lane.
Yeah. So what this allows him to do here is he can move some of these guys here and just land. And these guys can come in 2 banking through here, or they can go fast.
And Sunfac can do basically whatever they want.
Yeah. Because what that means is next round, if Aaron decides that he wants to, carry on in his lane, these droids are going to come through here and hit him in the side. If, however, Aaron decides that he's going to go, you know what, I'm going to turn in and I'm going to engage, he's got to then turn which is fine for the first one, but these block his K-turns.
I think short maneuvers from those TIE fighters, 2 straight forwards, are still very effective maneuvers.
Yes.
Aaron just needs to keep all those TIE fighters on target, at least with the swarm right now. We can't really imagine that he'll be able to catch Sunfac out right away unless Aaron makes a mistake in this opening engagement, or excuse me, unless Tyler makes a mistake in this opening engagement, which I don't assume he will. And so Aaron should play to the advantage of his swarm with Howl Runner there in the back, safe from Sunfac shenanigans for right now. He's able to just put guns on target, smash this swarm with the offensive power of the TIEs.
Yeah, so I'm expecting Sunfac to stay where he is there, because what that means is there's effectively going to be out of range. Nope, Tyler surprising me once again.
I think he's pushing him out to the right, separating Sunfac and the droids just a little bit more. And there he goes. Gonna make Aaron have the choice. Plus Sunfac on the edge there gives him more leeway to barrel roll in and out of arcs, to toss TIEs around.
So what that effectively does now is Sunfac in the position that he's in is completely out of range. So there's no engagement. So what's then going to happen is Aaron's now got a choice. He can turn this way and go for Sunfac. Or, if he does that, his entire flank down this side is open to these vultures coming in. If, however, he decides that he's going to turn in this way, that gives Sunfac free reign to just do a 5 straight down here, barrel roll, come in, and hit them in this flank.
Question in the chat. We just had some more questions about colors for TIE Swarms. Timo 777760. Can we get colors for the TIE Swarm? We are waiting for the tabletop.to overlay to refresh. We've tried to refresh that before. They do have colors, and I'll go through those one more time as we try to figure out that little issue. Del Miko is in yellow there on the bottom right. Academy pink leading the charge, right next to Wampa in black. Orange is Gideon Hask. Howl Runners nestled back there in green, and Iden Verso is covering her in purple.
So Ace is just trying to figure out what's going on with the overlay there, because we've got the slight issue with the colour. So we will try and keep you updated and call out the ships as they engage. So it's just that dial waiting for Sunfac. I think we're good to go.
Because Aaron is setting his dials off screen.
Okay.
In a block. just to keep things organized. Now I do think those TIE fighters could benefit just from slow maneuvers straightforward. Putting the block somewhere in this area. We've still got a great opportunity to push arcs onto Sunfac if he's aggressive, to cover this rock.
Yeah.
And the droid swarm.
Now, one of the advantages of the TIE Swarm's got in this is got a couple of pilot skill 1s, which could potentially cause some problems for Tyler by causing it to block. And that will deny them their calculate actions. Now, one of the things that the droids have over the TIE Swarm is that they have the linked action, so they can barrel roll and then they can calculate. So we're just fixing the issue now on the overlay. So as you can see, they should be updating now. Ace is just dropping those in for us. So as I say, purple is Iden Versio, pink is the Academy pilot, black is Wampa. Gideon is orange, Howl Runner is green, and then Del Miko is yellow.
There we go. Multiple things need to be refreshed. Thank you, Dion, for the help on that.
Okay, so
and thank you to everybody for tuning in.
So I think you're right, Acer. I think we're going to just see a conservative 2 forwards here from the TIE Fighters. And
Indeed.
there we go.
And that's the whole block. I mean, until we get into the scrum, we don't really see the TIE Fighters separating at all. And that, I mean, this is dangerous for Sun Fac, even with all of his shenanigans. If Sun Fac is caught in multiple arcs, especially if he can't pull Howl Runner out of position there, Sun Fac gets a shot off, and then the whole swarm gets to retaliate.
Yeah.
So would you see Sun Fac, if we assume that TIE Fighter, the last TIE Fighter, is going to be right around there, Sun Fac moving up to this position?
So I think I would be very surprised if Tyler hasn't dialed in the 5 straight, because the 5 straight basically takes him down here, positions himself here. He can then rotate his arc this way and just pick on a TIE Fighter.
Absolutely.
Close enough.
2 straights forward for the ties. There indeed is that rock.
Yep.
And here
So
comes
we
that
go.
rock model, which means, Dion, I think you need to get over there with a mobile camera. He's, don't worry, he's working on it. There's that rock model with the Vulture Droid on it. Again, by Luke Carrington to the Gold Squadron Paintcast. There it is. Thank you, Gold Squadron Paintcast in chat. Boom.
Yep, I don't think anyone's under any illusions that that droid's on a rock now with its landing struts open.
Absolutely.
So here we see a 2-bank.
The Vulture Droids just have to stay next to each other for that network calculations. Tyler's spreading arcs a little bit, covering that right-hand side, because the left hand is already covered by the rocks.
Yeah. So again, we're going to see the 2-bank from this back Vulture here. Yep, there we go. Landing right where that calculator's.
So there's that 2-bank is nestling right in place.
Yep. I'd be very surprised if we don't see 2 forwards from the rest of the TIE Swarm here.
Right.
So here we go. And again, it was just going to be a 2 forwards and focus.
Absolutely. So Sun Fac, I think you're absolutely right. If Tyler correctly predicted what we did as well, seeing that conservative maneuver, a 5 straight is perfect right there.
Yeah, yeah. Even if he'd have been more aggressive or moved in, because Sun Fac can't really be blocked without him still being able to do his tractor beam shenanigans. What that means, it looks like a bank maneuver.
So Sun Fac is playing conservative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit surprising, but what he can do here is he can tractor beam himself and push him over this rock here to then come in from back, come in from behind.
I don't think it's a bad maneuver at all. Just a little bit less aggressive than what I was expecting.
Yeah, and if he positions himself behind this gas cloud, because he didn't didn't go over the gas cloud during his perform maneuver step, he can still perform his action. So what that means is he can be behind a gas cloud with 3 dice, 4 for the gas cloud, with the gas cloud effect and a focus. And realistically, you're probably only going to get 1 or 2 ties that shoot him, if they decide to. Yeah,
so let's look at how these formations are aligned, especially just swarm on swarm right now. And this is another, I think, very positive aspect of Tyler's approach right here. I think there is only one of those Vulture Droids that everybody's got a shot on, and he's sitting right here on the rock with the rock between him and most of the swarm. If there is anything that Tyler can do to prevent this to prevent this TIE Swarm from just outright destroying one of those. Here we got the close-up of the rock. There it is. Luke Carrington, well done. There's that Vulture Swarm. Thank you for the close-up there, Dion. Anyways, if there is one thing that Vulture on a rock can do to prevent itself from getting just absolutely shattered right away, it's put that rock between him and the swarm. The TIE fighters will have to expend a lot of energy, a lot of dice, and a lot of modifiers to even take that 1-3 health ship off the board.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes, Aaron might not be able to afford if he wants to keep momentum in this game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I'm not sure what the slight delay is. I think Tyler's probably just thinking through what his options are.
Yep. What those options are in Sun Fac. If it were you, Darren, would you be barrel rolling out or boosting?
So if this were me, I'd be boosting one forwards, but I think we've quickly established that Tyler and I play Sun Fac very, very differently.
Chat's also telling me, and I must have missed this, Dion bumped Sun Fac.
Ah! That's unfortunate.
So he is taking the boost.
Yep.
Tractor Arc pointed to the left right there, so he will get a shot.
So he will get a shot. Unlikely to do anything because it's going to be 2 dice, most probably through a cloud.
Yep.
He's not going to spend the focus on attack.
Absolutely.
So it looks like we're going to have our first dice rolls.
Absolutely. So let's get that dice cam up. Oh, that pile. Let's get that dice cam off. And
so
now Tyler, they're measuring through.
Yeah, so he knows that he can't hand off the tractor there. So there we go, 1 hit.
Plenty of evades.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
So I think we're just then explaining the swarm tactics. And there we see the lovely hand of Dio, and they're taking the dice out of the box for us.
Thank you, Dion. All right, measuring some arcs right there. We have Academy and the Wampa. Swarm Tactics up to Pilot Skill 4. So every single one of those TIE fighters is going to fire after Howl Runner. Howl Runner measuring arc first.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we will take my reroll, sure.
We've got 2 crits.
Oh.
And nothing. Vulture Green spending the focus, taking a crit. I could not hear what the crit was.
Okay. Wampa will take the same shot.
So the crit is Panicked Pilot there.
Spend his charge, which I got to put on there. 3 dice.
All right, more TIE Fighter shots coming in.
Focus, so
2 hits, spending the focus. 2 more focus, instead of spending 2 calculates. Or just 1 from the rear with network calculations. That's coming in against Green. He's got to spend both.
Oh, that's 2 5s, yeah. That's my 2 5s.
So he did not spend any. Let that Vulture Green go right down.
But I think because what he realized is the green one, you can only spend with network calculate. You can only spend 1 other calculate token. So what happens there is, even if you just spent the 1, it'd have still been taking 2 damage.
Exactly. So he had to dump a bunch of calculate on that.
So here we see Iden taking the range 3 shot into Separatist drone Orange. They're just trying to work out now whether it's obstructed by that rock or not.
Likely to be calling the judge. And here's the offensive output of that TIE Swarm. So we've already seen 1 Vulture droid erased. That took 2 shots.
Yep.
We had Howl Runner and Gideon Hask firing right there. We still have Wampa. We still have the Academy, Iden, and Del Miko. That's 4 more TIE fighters to fire.
Well, I'm not clear whether it was Wampa that fired or whether it was Gideon. So Gideon gets the extra dice, does he not, if you're damaged, but Wampa gets the extra dice if he's got
That's
his
true.
charge.
And Wampa's focus is gone. So that was Wampa's shot. Marking the Academy pilot to see if that is unobstructed or not.
Okay, so they're just checking the arc now.
Judge D. Yoon cannot be here at the table today, but because he is playing.
So this is one of the issues with multiple ships.
Yep.
As you see, because we've got the 2 swarms there, it's very difficult for them to position that marker, the range ruler, to see. But here we go, they're marking the ships out.
So they're calling from Iden to Vulture Orange, unobstructed.
That's right. Okay.
Iden Verso coming in. There's a Howl Runner reroll. 1 hit. Vulture with 1 evade. No damage.
So they're just putting their ships back now.
There was, it
And
looked
there
like
we see Delmico.
There's Delmico back down. Was it looked like a small bump during all of that measuring. Vulture Pink got bumped slightly out of position right there.
Okay.
Hopefully they noticed that. That's one of the things with swarms is that you got to plan a little bit for that inevitable bump, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here is Academy Pink coming in onto Number Pink. 2 hits, 3 blanks. Number Pink taking 2 damage right off the bat. Gideon Hask now firing on a damaged ship, but cannot fire on Number Pink, so we've got range 3 obstructed to Number Orange. Spending that focus. 1 hit, plenty of evades.
Clean.
Finally, Delmico range 3 to Number Pink. Hit crit after the Howl Runner reroll. Spending 2 calculates to not lose 2 ships in 1 round. Wise choice by Tyler, although he doesn't have so many offensive mods for the Swarm's retaliatory shots.
Yep, I feel like Aaron's definitely ahead with this open engagement here.
Absolutely.
So Tyler's looking at drone yellow. And they are just marking out the drone that's on the asteroid there, just to see whether it's obstructed.
This is the thing with swarms, that there's so many ships in there. Got to plan for a bump or 2. It's inevitable. It will happen. It's just one of the things about flying swarms.
Absolutely.
Hit crit coming in. He was firing at Wampa. And 1 crit.
So let's see what... Asa, did you catch what that crit was?
I did not. I did not catch what that crit was. We'll figure that out. 1 hit coming in at Wampa then. Oof. More blanks. Now he will, if it's coming in at Wampa, he will get a reroll from Delmico.
So he's spending the Iden charge.
Spending the Iden charge on Wampa, not Howl Runner.
So orange here ignoring the rock.
Blanks.
And pink is going into Delmico.
We've got 1 spending that focus.
So I don't know about you, Asa. What are your thoughts on that engagement?
I mean, I think in terms of damage, Aaron definitely came out ahead, erasing 1 Vulture droid almost erasing to number pink down on one hull, where you see after that first engagement. So it seems like a fairly decided, if not decisive, victory in the first engagement for Aaron, but Sunfac is not out of the equation yet.
He's not. He definitely needs to get engaged, though. The problem he's going to have is Sunfac's arc is currently pointing out this way.
Right.
So if this swarm move forwards or come around here, what's then going to happen is Sunfac, he needs to hard turn in. The problem is he's then going to have to reposition himself, but he's not going to be able to point his arc over this way. So he's going to have to try and get something caught in his front arc, and it just depends then on whether Aaron spots that or not.
Absolutely. Aaron now is in a position to leverage the pilot skill 1 of the Academy Pilot and Wampa as blockers.
Absolutely.
Interesting that he spent the Iden charge to prevent the damage to Wampa, although that is one of his biggest guns.
Well, what you see there is effectively he's still going to have 6 ships firing before any of these vultures.
Right.
And as we've seen, he's already taken off 1 vulture and pretty much almost finished off number pink here as well. Now, that number pink isn't out for the count because that is number pink.
Absolutely. And as we've seen many, many times yesterday, 1 hull is still a gun. 1 hull still needs to be dealt with. And if Aaron has to fire 2 TIE fighters to take number pink out, then that's a problem. Now,
Absolutely.
It's also worth mentioning that despite Aaron's advantage of blocking, even if one of those vulture droids gets a calculate, an important calculate can be passed to a ship in need.
Yeah.
So how do you think that Aaron will most leverage that blocking, or will he go for it at all? Think he'll just saunter forward and try to blast more droids?
So, as I say, if Aaron decides that he's going to come in and do the 2-bank this way to point every gun he's got at this, that's then giving Sunfac free reign to be behind him, and he's then blocked from his K-turns next turn because of this rock here and this rock here. It'll be difficult for him. The problem he's got is this drone here is untouched, and
Right.
he also doesn't have to move. So he will quite happily skip his perform maneuver step, take a calculate. He can even barrel roll off the rock and take a calculate action if he really wants to. So he's going to be key for Tyler to give a calculate to at least the rest of his swarm. I think it'll be difficult for Aaron to block all of them. It just depends on where he goes.
I almost wonder if the correct choice of action for Aaron might just be to come forward, maybe a 3 if he's feeling aggressive to try to get that back rank out of FAC range. But just try to blast number pink, number yellow.
Yep.
Put that right in his sights as well, and then set up for a K-turn, get that swarm facing directly in the opposite direction on the other side of that lane.
Yeah, I mean,
2 turns from now.
I mean, Aaron definitely doesn't want to get fact from behind.
You're
Okay.
absolutely right, Darren. So there's just those 2 straight forwards.
Yeah, just the 2 straightforwards. Take the focus action.
It is
and-
fairly conservative, but it's fair to remember that now Iden has spent her charge. If Iden does get pulled out of formation, it's not quite as important at this moment. Really, and Howl Runner, where she is in the back rank of that formation, nestled between Iden and Dell, can't be pulled out. So even if somebody gets tractored.
So there we see Orange there, skipping his perform action step, skipping his perform maneuver step, just staying on the rock. And I believe Tyler may have missed to do his action there. He may have done a calculate. I can't quite see. So there we've got the blue vulture taking the 2-bank, taking the barrel roll and the calculate. So number pink is getting out of there.
Absolutely. It looks like number pink actually might be going for the blocking move here. Number pink with a 4 straight forward with a barrel roll to the left would be absolutely beautiful. Here it comes.
Well, he'll block down Miko and then he'll block Iden. There we go. So Tyler using number pink to full advantage there to go, you know what, you've got the blockers, I'm going to block you.
And then Iden, maybe Howl Runner being the only ones that can actually take advantage of the shots right there. 2 straight from number yellow. Number yellow definitely in a tough position, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So the orange vulture and the yellow vulture, they are untouched, and they will have 2 calculates to share between them. Neither of them are damaged, so there's no re-rolls there.
I'll be right back. I'm going to grab that crit on Wampa.
Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So we've got Gideon, again, doing a 2 forwards. It was a direct hit on Wampa. That's why he took the Iden charge.
So the critical hit on Wampa there was actually a direct hit. So that makes sense now why he spent that Wampa charge. Or excuse me, that Iden charge. So the crit went through, his direct hit, blocked that last damage with Iden.
So here we see Dalmiko. Is it going to clear? Is it going to bump?
Got Dalmiko coming in with a 2 straight.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to bump.
That is a bump.
Which is great because it means that Sunfat can then come round even if he's done a 1 or a 2 hard. It'll allow him to take the tractor token, position his arc to the front, and boost forwards.
Yep. Iden bumping right in behind.
Yeah. Now, as far as Aaron's concerned, Iden, all that Iden's providing now is the swarm tactics. So they spent the charge, so it's not
right.
as
well, swarm tactics and a gun.
Swarm tactics and a gun. It's not as crucial a piece anymore, though, now that he's spent that charge.
Right. So Iden and Del both blocked. Here comes Sunfac. There's the one
there's the
hard.
hard one. So just helping each other out there. The gas cloud making it a little bit tricky. So here we see Tyler do the 1 hard.
Think he's going to boost?
Yeah. So he doesn't get an action, but he can still do the tractor.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him take the tractor and rotate the arc to the front. And he may not move himself, but no, he's doing the 1 forwards.
Well, he's got to be able to pass that off. If he gives that to Iden, right? If he gives that tractor beam to Iden, then he has a very real chance of erasing a tokenless Iden.
Yeah.
Before Iden can fire on that 1 hull number ping, and that would actually be a pretty amazing move from Tyler.
Well, the good thing there
he
is
needs to get those droids back in the game.
Yeah, and the good thing there is it also means that Aaron can only move up 1 of these. I believe, when does Swarm Tactics activate? Is it at the beginning of the
start of the engagement phase?
Start of the engagement phase.
Yep.
So yes, he will still be able to bump them up to the relevant initiative.
All right, so Wampa and Iden are both coming up. So Wampa and the Academy Pilot both coming up to 5 and 4 respectively.
Yep.
All right, so in Snare, passing off that tractor beam to Iden, not moving him. Sunfat gets 4 dice, range 1 on Iden.
So there we see hit, crit. So this could be a dead Iden. So there, with 1 evade, it's 2 crits. So panicked and structural.
Panic pilot and structural damage.
So Iden will still get to fire.
And I think that's the critical thing. He's got to erase number pink.
Yeah.
These swarm games are a damage race.
Absolutely. And
right now, Aaron's winning.
Yep.
But only slightly.
Yeah. It all then depends on how he can maximize this round, because if he can clear out these 2 vultures here, effectively that gives him the K-turn open so that Sunfac's not behind.
Yep. So there's Howl Runner coming in, 1 hit onto number yellow. No, evades.
So
Blank,
yellow
blank,
takes 1.
1 hit.
So Wampa spending the charge. It's going to see 4 dice into yellow. So Howler on a reroll. So spends focus just for 2 hits. And spending 2 calculate.
Dodging all that damage.
Absolutely, but those yellow and orange now have no calculate, and they've still got 3 or 4 more shots coming in.
Academy Pilot, blank hit crit, reroll, hit crit with Howl Runner, no focus necessary. Hit and crit. Separatist drone, number yellow.
And
down.
That crit is a fuel leak.
For all the good it does.
Absolutely.
So Iden is looking at firing at number orange. Think that's the right choice, or should he try to go for number pink?
Personally, I think he should just take pink off the board.
There
he's
it goes.
Going range 1. Howler on a reroll, and just 1 hit.
That's all he needs. 2 blanks. Nope, 2 evades. Number pink.
The legend that is.
Can we get some legends in chat for number pink?
So here we see Howler on a range. Sorry.
So that's Del Miko. Unobstructed. No focus, so just 1 hit, 1 evade.
So just Gideon left to fire. Range 2 obstructed into the orange. Hit crit.
That's what he wants to see. No tokens. 1 crit going through.
Out of range for that calculate.
Disabled
power regulator.
So that is going to that accomplishes what Aaron wanted to do, essentially make that orange irrelevant next turn for that K turn. Because one of the things that Tyler could have done was barrel roll that off the asteroid with his action and block the K turn for this back rank of TIE fighters.
Yep.
He can't do that anymore. So now Aaron is still free to K turn into that area if he wanted to. So structural damage effect on Iden as he takes that shot. 1 evade, cancels the 1 hit. No damage on Iden. Same shot, range 3 obstructed, 2 focus. If only he had the calculate.
Attention, X-Wing D20 players. 30 minutes remaining in the round. 30 minutes remaining in the first round.
So disabled power regulator will repair from that separatist drone orange. So when you're ioned on that rock, you still go 1 straight forward, right?
Nope, you skip it.
You skip it.
Because your struts are open.
Okay, so that ion maneuver does happen in the perform maneuver step.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
Effectively what happens is he's still got the ion token.
So when he comes off the rock, or excuse me.
So he stays there. He doesn't
Forever?
No, so he effectively doesn't perform his maneuver step because he can trigger the landing struts.
So does the ion token come off then?
So the ion token does not come off.
So this is my question, because if the ion token doesn't come off there, the only way that he can maneuver off of that is to.
The players are just asking that now.
They're calling a judge. I'm gonna run over there and stand by so
Yep.
I can hear that.
That is a very interesting question because they are asking the judge now because. So, I'm listening to the table.
Really quickly, people at home, we do have a clip ready for the next table, but I want to hear the resolution of this this question. So we're going to just go ahead and wait for that, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at that clip. Darren, this game has seemed to be pretty good so far.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting one. Obviously, we've got the big bad boogeyman that is Sunfac and some droids, and we see here that actually the good old TIE Swarm is ahead.
I mean, the TIE Swarm has always been really dangerous with both Iden and Howl Runner doing their thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we've seen Sunfac to his full ability here. I think Tyler's been very, very cautious with him, and he's not really coming to the fight yet. So we've got a really interesting interaction going on right now, where we're trying to work.
Once we hear back from Asa, we're going to go ahead and switch over. But I want to hear the resolution of this.
Head judge was called. We have he ruled that you don't ever trigger landing struts because you don't reveal a dial.
Right.
And so he's going to drift one forward. Still won't roll for the damage because he's still ignoring obstacles.
All right.
And so he'll drift one forward. Can only focus.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense because the dial's never actually revealed. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Are we live or are you live?
Both.
Okay. All right, there we go. So for those of you who did not hear that, overhear that as I was speaking, the head judge here at Worlds has ruled that on ion tokens on the grappling struts, since a dial is never revealed, you never go into grappling struts. And so he will drift one straight forward. He can only focus, but since he still has the struts open, he will still ignore damage.
Well, he can't focus because he's a droid.
Correct. Well,
So
yes. So drifts forward.
Yeah,
Do nothing.
absolutely. And I think that's a really thematic thing in the with the introduction of Calculate. That
Right.
traditionally in Star Wars universe, Ion's great against droids,
Exactly.
and even in a game mechanic whereby Ion you can only focus, droids don't have focus.
Right. Now, if, as long as we're talking thematic, this is something that Tyler said. I'm attached to a rock. I'm not drifting right now. All right. So those dials down. I would expect to see K-turn from this whole tie formation. What do you think?
Absolutely. Other than obviously Iden, who took the panic pilot.
Right.
So here we see the K-turns.
I think Iden will just try to block up Sun Fac and just present a problem for Sun Fac in the sense that then Sun Fac can't get to Howl Runner, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sunfac's probably going to find themselves out in the open right now. So here we see the that Vulture drifting forwards, and he's no longer on the rock.
So it is worth mentioning that the struts are still open at
Yes,
this
they
point.
are. Yeah, it's a bit of a lengthy card, and not many people have read the full text. But effectively, what's going to happen next turn is those struts will have to close.
So he has to take a 2 straight.
No, he doesn't have to take a 2 straight because he's not on the rock.
Right. Okay.
And so he can still perform a regular move because he's not on it.
Number pink, 2 straight to pilot. Right. I think that puts him right on top of that gas cloud.
Too hard.
2 straight. I said 2 straight to the right. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
A 2 straight to the right. That's
2 straight to the right.
Absolutely, you are completely correct. It was a 2 straight to the right there.
There's the 4 K-turns following by Gideon Hask. Aaron very happy there about that disabled power regulator. Tyler mentioning that exact same barrel was like, man.
Yep, the worst time to take that disabled power regulator because
Right.
it stopped him being able to just barrel roll off. Barrel roll calculate, he would have been sat there quite happily, pretty much where Gideon is right now.
Exactly, and we're watching Aaron because of that just control this lane.
Yeah.
He's K-turning back and forth. Those droids are stuck in front. There's that 3 straight from Iden, not doing a running blocking maneuver, but still getting in front of Howl Runner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Howl Runner's about to 4K as well.
Now, one thing we've not really spoken about this game is the points. It's still a close game points-wise.
Absolutely. I think the reason why we haven't really talked about that is so easy to swing.
Yeah.
So easy to swing this particular game. None of the key pieces, Howl Runner, Wampa, Sun Fac, none of those are off the board yet.
No.
So there's not a decisive swing in any direction
No,
at
absolutely.
this moment. So everybody is stressed at this point. Everybody except for Iden is facing back towards the center. Here comes Sun Fac right in front of those ties.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to see here is a rotate of his arc this way, and probably a barrel roll to about here.
Will he be able to pass off? Because he'll be able to pass off to Iden.
To Iden. Shoot Iden. and just focus. But the problem is, he's then going to take
that
5 shots.
whole tie swarm, and they're not focused, but they don't need to be.
No.
Right. There's just a lot of damage coming to Sunfac. I think this might be Aaron's chance. I almost wonder if Sunfac does not want to barrel roll or does not want to take that tractor.
Well, the tractor's not the problem because he can hand it off quite easily. He can always make sure that he's got something in
I think it's the range here. If you barrel roll close, you might get range 2 of this back rank.
Okay, so we can see it now. So he's rotating the arc. He's taking the tractor. Is he going to reposition?
Yes, he
Absolutely.
is. At that point, if you've already taken the tractor, you might as well. He might be going for bullseye then on Gideon.
On Iden.
Bullseye. Oh, right, because he can pull Iden right in here.
Yep. So what he can do is he can hand that off, barrel roll Iden this way, and put it right in the.
So
right into the bullseye.
Iden's definitely in trouble right now. I think the trouble for Tyler though is that he's taking a gun off the board that isn't firing at him this round.
Yeah.
And that's what Sun needs to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the issues he's got here. So, Iden's no threat to him right now, but he's pretty much got to shoot there because it's unlikely that he's going to be able to take out one of these ships.
Especially with no other vultures on target.
Yeah.
So he passed it off to Iden, just left him there. So swarming Wampa up to initiative 5. Iden out of range, not able to swarm that academy up.
So there we see hit crit into into Iden Versio
3 hits and a crit, nothing. Structural damage and only one die.
Structural damage coupled with a tractor beam is a dead TIE fighter.
Absolutely.
And it was a direct
hit.
So that TIE fighter, that is very, very dead.
Absolutely. But once again, it was an Iden that had spent her charge.
Yep.
It's an Iden that was not in the fight.
And it was a one-hull Iden.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. That was a phenomenal shot there by Sunfac. But it was a one-hull ship.
Right.
Like,
didn't need to be. So this was phenomenal. It was one whole ship with 1 evade die. It did no focus. It did not need to be phenomenal to put that damage through. And if you're superstitious like me, that means when you need it most, you will not get that shot later in the game.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so Howlrunner's actually taking the range 1 primary onto Vulture Orange right here. Not for Sunfac just yet. Hit, crit. Howlrunner reroll, 2 hits and a crit. Hit and a crit. Droid.
So, takes hit crit.
And dies.
No, Orange still has 1 left.
I thought Orange had taken 1 last round.
Yes, did, because disable power regulator.
Yep. So that's it for Vulture Orangers, leaving him on the board right now.
Yeah.
Until I love that disabled power regulator, by the way. It drifted the whole rock forward. No shot right there from Wampa.
And then that's the end of the initiative 5 step.
All right, so moving down to initiative 4s, we have Dell, we have Gideon Hask.
So Tyler's now got 2 droids left. One's limping, number pink, and blue's untouched. The problem is he's facing an entire TIE swarm, and Sunfac's got to get some points back.
At this point, if I was Aaron, figure out who to attack, Gideon cannot attack. Gideon cannot attack number pink. I would take that shot on Sun, because everybody else can fire at Sun. We're going to go ahead and fire with Del Meeko first. Range 2 across the board.
Yep. So he's just trying to decide now where he's going to fire with Del Meeko. So Del Meeko going into pink, I think.
Get those points. Del Meeko range 2 into number pink. We have 1 hit, 1 blank. Reroll with Howlrunner. 2 hits, 1 evade.
1 damage. That's a dead number pink.
Number pink. F's in chat for number pink. Now here comes Gideon.
Yep. Got range 2 into
Vulture Blue.
Howlrunner reroll. 2 hits. Double blank.
Range 3 from Academy into Vulture Blue.
Yep. Hit, crit, Howl Runner reroll.
And one more crit.
Takes the crit and dies.
Vulture is down. Okay, so now we've got a completely different situation here. That Howl Runner swarm just showing its offensive power right
Yep.
there. Aaron in that round took 3 Vulture droids off the board.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
now just Sunfac versus the world. Aaron up by 52 points. Tyler needing to destroy how many of those TIE fighters?
So it looks like he's going to have to destroy 2 of them.
If we get Wampa, there's
Yep.
15 points. If we get Howl
Howl Runner.
Runner and Wampa,
He'd have to do Howl Runner and Wampa.
Yep.
And not take any damage.
or 2 of the others.
Yes.
But
So-
Howl Runner and Wampa, I think, would be the easiest thing to accomplish at the moment.
Yep, I think absolutely what we're going to have to see here is the 5K.
Yep.
5K, and then get back in the fight.
Now, if Aaron sees that and Wampa right here just hard won,
Yep.
but that's a gamble because it does separate him from the formation and leave him stressed.
Yep. And the thing is, if Tyler feels, he could potentially do the 3 sloop here, which would be difficult to block.
Absolutely. Again, all of those TIE fighters are stressed. If I saw that, Academy could
Self-bump.
self-bump to Howl Runner.
Yep. And the challenge is, as soon as Sunfac dials in a red move, he can't do his tractor beam shenanigans.
Right, because that is an action.
It
to
is
move
an
that.
action.
You can still take the tractor token.
You can't take the track token.
Oh, because it's the cost.
Because it's the cost.
Right, we've
'Cause
been
you
over this yesterday.
Have to pay the cost.
So that was, with 15 minutes or 16 minutes left in the round, I think Sunfac definitely does have the
He has a
ability.
chance.
He does. There's
a
enough time left to kill Wampa, to kill Howl Runner. Sunfac is an offensive powerhouse.
Yep.
I think it is going to be tough.
Yep.
Because we have to
Absolutely.
do that without getting halved on Sunfac
Yep.
himself.
Now, what you could even see is just a little one bank with Sunfac. Puts him around about here, and then just hit them in the side.
If you were Sunfac, where would you go? Did you do that one bang? Did you dial in that 5K?
If I was Sunfac, I would be inclined to...
15 minutes.
Sorry, we were just getting a time check there. If I was Sunfac, I would be inclined to do a little one bank.
So there's a 3 straight
Mhm.
from Academy. Because the dangerous thing for Tyler is that if all those ties this round unstressed,
Yep.
then we see K turns
Yep.
next round. So he is doing some self-bumping right here, blocking Del Mico. Wampa banks right in, try to sit himself right between Howl Runner and that Academy pilot. Aiming his arc up towards the top right.
Yep, and that fits.
The key there with all these overlapping arcs, I wonder if the rest of these TIE fighters are going to bump into the Academy as well.
Potentially.
Use that as a backstop just to try to, a fact stop.
So, 2 bank.
Just scooting forward.
So, Aaron doing a really, really good job here of self-blocking.
That, I believe that blocks that 5K right over there. What do you think?
It's very, very close.
Two straight.
What's time?
Howl Runner blocking right in.
5K block.
5K is blocked. That was an excellent call by Aaron.
Yep.
Doing a much better job of calling that than I did. Well, he called it, but did a better way to get that. Now Sunfac is stressed. No action, no
Yep.
tractor sitting right in front of the entire TIE swarm.
And the problem there is not only that, but next turn, these TIE fighters can just
All
K-turn in
K-turned.
behind.
So Sunfac going range 1, range 2
Range
into
2
Wampa.
into Wampa, trying to get a gun off the board.
Great idea. 3 dice, bullseye, 1 crit.
It
That's
could be
all
enough.
Exactly. No,
And
it's
there's
not.
the evade.
There is no more defensive ship than a TIE fighter on 1 hull.
So here we see Howl Runner.
Range 2, primary into Sun Fac. Hit focus. Sun Fac takes a damage.
So Wampa range 2. Howl Runner reroll, hit crit. 1 evade, 1 crit. Console fire into Sun Fac. So Gideon range 2 primary now. Howl Runner reroll.
This is damage, so 3 dice. Sun Fac takes 1 more.
Academy Pilot range 1, gonna finish the job. And spends the focus for hit crit.
That'll do it.
That is game.
12 minutes left in the round. Fastest game that we have casted all afternoon.
Yep, and the first game so far
Has not gone to time.
Has not gone to time.
Yeah. Congratulations, Aaron, showing the power of the TIE Swarm in that concentrated formation.
Yep.
Aaron mentioned before this game happened, Tyler was the one that knocked him out of Adepticon last year, so he's gone ahead and
Managed
got
to get
his
a little bit of revenge.
A little bit of vengeance story. So let's do a little bit of post-mortem as long as we have some time right here. Tyler's squad, obviously very strong. We saw some Sun Fac shenanigans right there. In my opinion, I think he came at the TIE Swarm too directly.
Yeah, I think the turn that Tyler came around this way with Sun Fac, if it had just gone 5 straight.
And put that gun into the fight.
Yeah, he could have deleted a TIE fighter. As we saw, Sun Fac, range 1, out the arc.
Absolutely.
Absolutely just destroys the ship. So Tyler's just talking right now, actually, about just here, where he started in the 5K, what he should have done is the 3 sloop, and he just said it would have absolutely fit, and it would have put him right behind Howl Runner, and then he could have just started deleting ships.
Absolutely. Even with that stress with the TIE Fighters 5K'ing or 4K'ing next turn, it still puts him right back into the fight.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think to your point, you're absolutely right. That 5 straight, right up into that position was the catalyst for the droid swarm just being absolutely deleted by TIE Fighters turn after turn after turn, resulting in that second to last round of combat with 3 droids dying, one after the other after the other. We're seeing even focusless TIE Fighters with Howl Runner still on the board, a very, very potent force.
Yeah. And as we say, when we were talking about it in at the beginning of the game, it was a question of whether the engagement was going to happen down here or whether it was going to happen around here. And Aaron stuck to his plan, and he basically came in, turned in, came down, did a K-turn, and came back again.
And I got to say, it seems like Tyler just kind of acquiesced. Just kind of said, okay, let's do this. Let's point you right at it. And it might have worked, too, if Sun Fac had lent that extra gun. But as it stood, all those vultures dumped their calculates on defense. They didn't have effective return fire.
Yep.
And so Aaron's just absolutely scarily consistent offense
yep.
with Howl Runner, with Wampa, with Dell, and even Number Pink, that Academy pilot, putting in the kill shot on Sun Fac finally at the very end.
Absolutely, and there's some great things to take away from this game. So, first of all, Sun Fac's taken a lot of heat.
Right.
And people, even we had a question in the chat to say, why on earth would you take the TIE Swarm when you could run the Vulture Swarm? Well, actually, we've just seen
right here.
TIE Swarm beating the Vulture Swarm.
Right.
A couple of other good points to note, that was 2 swarms, didn't go to time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a lot of flack about
there was some
swarms.
in the chat. It's like, hey, well, welcome to 2 ships dying, and then we see time.
Nope. They were 2 very, very good players. They had a really, really good pace of play, and they just consistently carried on kind of getting those rounds in. They weren't playing particularly fast, they weren't playing particularly slow, but it just shows that actually with 12 ships on the board?
Yep.
And it's our first game that's not gone to time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. One more time, I want to plug Curled Paw Creatives. They have sponsored our trip out here today. That coupon code WORLDS2019 will get you 15% off. And if you are listening to this on YouTube or after the fact, that code will be active until Monday, October 21st, 2019. That will be your last day to get.
So what you're saying is you can't use that on Tuesday?
Is you cannot use that on Tuesday. I can't tell if you're being cheeky, you like covering that can't with your accent. You cannot. You cannot use that on Tuesday. Expires Monday.
Good to know. Again,
that is Worlds 2019. That code for 15% off from Curled Paw Creatives. thank you very much for sponsoring us, for giving us those tokens that we see on stream, for all those colored tokens to denote those fighters.
Especially number pink.
Especially number pink.
Which
he
finished
should
the
do-
job.
he
Number
did.
pink finished the job.
Andrew should do a special number pink token.
Absolutely
A commemorative number pink token. Hey, Dion. Andrew should do a number pink token. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this. This has been round 1 of day 1A. We will be back with round 2 as soon as we get pairings. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, this is the Gold Squadron Podcast. I'm Asa Graff.
And I'm Darren Granger.
Thank you. We'll see you next round.